पॉइंट से पढ़ना शुरू करते हैं। जो नासा टेम्पो मिशन, एक सेकेंड। Recently NASA launched the tropospheric emission monitoring और pollution instruction from Florida on board a SpaceX launcher 7 अप्रैल 2003 Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, Colorado, USA. It important instrument developed by NASA that can track air pollution over North America from space. It will allow the scientists to monitor the air pollutant and the emissions source down to their neighborhood level. Tempo is hosted on an Intersat communication satellite in geostationary orbit. Tempo spectroscopic measurement in the ultraviolet and visible range provide a tropospheric measurement suite that includes the key elements of the tropospheric air pollutant. Tempo tropospheric emission monitoring of pollution spectroscopic instrument in the ultraviolet and the visible range provides a tropospheric measurement suite that includes the key elements of tropospheric air pollution. It will be able to measure the spectra required to receive ozone, nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide, formaldehyde, SCHO, glyoxal, C2H2O2, aerosol, cloud perimeter, UV radiation. The Taifa 1 mission. Recently, the Kenya launched its first Earth observatory satellite using SpaceX rocket. The Taifa 1 satellite was developed by Kenya Space Agency, launched from Vandenberg Base in California, USA. Taifa, Kenya. Taifa 1 satellite developed by China Space Agency, launched from the Vandenberg Base in California, USA. Launched using Falcon 9 rocket from SpaceX. Launched on 15 April 2003. Special first Earth observatory satellite of Kenya. It is Kenya's first operational Earth observation satellite. The satellite main objective to collect agriculture and the environment data, including flood, drought, wildfire, to help Kenya deal with disaster management and food insecurity. Indian space policy. Union Governance April 2003 approved the Indian space policy 2003 and the rules and responsibility of organizations such as ISRO, New Space India Limited, and the private sector entities have been laid on India in the global space economy. Currently at less than 2% will be increased by 10%. It will focus on developing new technologies, new systems, research and development. It will not do any operational production work for the space sector. The PSU, New Space India Limited, it will carry out strategic activities related to the space sector and will work in a demand-driven mode. It is the commercial arm of ISRO in space, announced in India National Space Authorization and Center, announced in 2000, formally inaugurated in 2000, which will be interface between the ISRO and non-common entity 3D printed Dhawan 2 engine private space vehicle company Skyroot Aerospace on 4 अप्रैल 2023 test flight with 3D printed Dhawan 2 engine for a duration of 200 seconds. Private sector company Skyroot Aerospace on 4 अप्रैल test flight 3D printed Dhawan 2 engine for a duration of Dhawan 2 engine 200 seconds. The engine was developed by the company for a civil vehicle Vikram 2. The Dhawan 2 endurance test was conducted at Solar Industries propulsion test facility in Nagpur. Solar Industries propulsion test facility in Nagpur, Maharashtra, using an indigenously conducted mobile cryogenic engine test pad. Earlier in November 2000, Skyroot launched India's first privately developed rocket. 2022 में Skyroot ने इंडिया का पहला प्राइवेटली डेवलप्ड रॉकेट विक्रम एस धवन cryogenic engine series of the Skyroot is named in honor of the Satish Dhawan 2 built upon the Skyroot first privately developed fully cryogenic rocket engine Dhawan 1, which was successfully tested in 2021. It is a completely indigenous and used a super alloy for 3D printing an engine, which reduced the manufacturing time by 95%. It will use liquid natural oxygen as propellant. Liquid natural oxygen and liquid oxygen as propellant. Reusable launch vehicle mission. The ISRO on 2 April 2023 successfully carried out the leading experiment of the reusable launch vehicle technology demonstrator program at the aeronautical test range in Challakere, Chitradurg, Karnataka में घटना में चित्रदुर्ग at in Challakere. ठीक है, reusable launch vehicle technology demonstration program at aeronautical test range in Challakere, Chitradurg. The space agency also that in the first in the world a wing body has been carried to an reusable. ISRO successfully carried out the landing experiment of the reusable launch vehicle technology demonstrator program at aeronautical test range in Challakere, Chitradurg, Karnataka. The space agency also said that in a first in the world a wing body has been carried to an altitude of 4.5 km by helicopter and released for carrying an autonomous landing on a runway. What is ISRO's reusable launch vehicle technology demonstrator? According to ISRO, the series of the experiment with the wing reusable launch vehicle technology demonstrator are part of the effort developing essential technology for a fully reusable launch vehicle to enable low-cost access to space. In the future, this vehicle will be scaled. The first stage of India is India का reusable 2 stage to orbit two stage to orbit launch vehicle, reusable launch vehicle, two stage to orbit. The demonstrator will be used to develop the technologies like hypersonic flight, autonomous landing, return flight experiment, powered cruise flight, scramjet propulsion experiment. ISRO launches special small satellite launch vehicle. ISRO successfully launched the second and development flight of the small satellite launch vehicle D2 launched on the launch pad of the Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota, Andhra Pradesh. Authority satellite 07 demonstration of the design payload or capability of small satellite launch vehicle in low Earth orbit, small satellite launch vehicle low Earth orbit, injection of the Earth observation satellite 07 satellite and two passenger satellite Janus 1 and Ajati Sat 2 into 450 km circular orbit. Earth observation satellite using it was developed by ISRO. It weighs 156 kg. It carries a spectrum monitoring payload and humidity sounder. It is an Earth observation satellite. 156 kg. It carries a spectrum monitoring payload, humidity sounder. Spectrum monitoring payload, humidity sounder. It is an observation journal. As when the satellite was developed by USA, the weight of the satellite was 10.2 kg. It is a demonstration satellite developed by Antares 1. The satellite was developed by the USA. The weight of the satellite was 10.2 kg. It is a demonstration satellite developed by Antares. Satellite was developed by USA. Earth observation satellite 07 by ISRO. Janus 1 satellite by USA. Weight of satellite 10.2 kg. In a demonstration satellite developed by the Antares. Bharatiya Space Station. ISRO Chairman S. Somnath informed recently in December that India will have its own space station during Ambedkar for the next 25 years. He was speaking at the Bharatiya Vigyan Sammelan organized by the Vijnan Bharati and NGO working to popularize science in Ahmedabad. He also informed that ISRO is targeting to launch the first modular module of the space station, Bharatiya Space Station, by 2028. The rare red aurora spotted in northern recently. The Henley and Merak observatory in Ladakh captured Merak photographs of an intense red aurora in the night sky phenomenon of uncommon in India. The Indian Astronomical Observatory, also known as Henley Observatory, is located in Mount Saraswati in Henley Village, Ladakh में गाँव है Henley Village, वहाँ पे Mount Saraswati में Henley Observatory was established in 2005 by Indian Institute of Aerophysics. Falling Walls Prize recently. Abdullah Diabetes Abdoulaye Diabetes, who was awarded 2023 Falling Wall Prize for Science and Innovation Management for is developing an innovative technique that can wipe out malaria causing female mosquito by altering their gene. Recently, Abdoulaye Diabetes was awarded the 2023 Falling Wall Prize for Science and Innovation. कौन सा प्राइज मिला है? Falling Wall Prize. इसके लिए Science and Innovation Management for Research is developing an innovative technique that can wipe out malaria causing female mosquito by altering their gene. UK confirms first human case of swine in flu strain. Recently, UK public health expert confirmed the first human case of swine flu strain by finding a H1N2B virus during a regular test. The H1N1 flu, sometimes called the swine flu, is a type of influenza A virus. It is a viral infection that spreads through the air. UK confirmed first human case of swine flu. UK public swine flu strain by finding a H1N2 virus. H1N1 flu, sometimes called swine flu, is a type of influenza A virus. Viral infection that spreads through air. Urea Gold fertilizer. Recently, Indian Prime Minister officially launched the Urea Gold fertilizer, a new variety of urea developed by the Rashtriya Chemical and Pfizer Limited during an event in Rajasthan, Shikar. It is a new variety of urea coated with the sulfur. Urea Gold is created by infusing urea with sulfur, creating a composite fertilizer with 37% nitrogen and 17% sulfur. 37% nitrogen, 7% sulfur. Centralized Laboratory Network. Recently, in June 2023, the Norway-based Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovation has expanded the scale and geographical footprint of its epidemic and pandemic vaccine test. The Centralized Laboratory Network. Recently, June 2023, Norway-based Coalition for the Epidemic Preparedness Innovation has expanded the scale and geographical footprint of the epidemic and pandemic vaccine testing laboratory network. Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovation has announced that an additional 5 members based in Africa and India have joined the Centralized Laboratory Network. Centralized Laboratory consists of 15 partner facilities in 13 countries and aim to test vaccine for use during the pandemic have been used outside. Quasimodo recently discovered an asteroid that tags along with the Earth during its annual journey around the Sun, named 2023 FW13. This asteroid is considered by the astronomers to be Quasimodo, the quasi satellite. Quasimodo, also known as quasi satellite, because they appear into orbit of Earth in the same way Earth's natural satellite named Quasimodo. F13. A launch vehicle LVM3 OneWeb India 2 mission. According to ISRO, LVM3 OneWeb India 2 mission was accomplished successfully on 26 March 2023. The vehicle took off with a total payload of 5,805 kg from Sriharikota. OneWeb constellation operates in low Earth orbit, polar orbit. Satellites are arranged in 12 ring orbital planes and 49 satellite image planes. The orbital planes are inclined to be near polar at 87. The orbital planes are 1200 km off the Earth. Each satellite completes a full trip around the Earth every 109 minutes. According to ISRO, launch vehicle MT3 OneWeb India 2 mission was accomplished successfully on 26 March. The vehicle took off with a total payload of 5,805 kg from Sriharikota. OneWeb constellation operates in a low Earth orbit polar satellite. Or satellites are arranged in 12 rings and with 49 satellites in 12 rings. हर रिंग में 49 सैटेलाइट है. The orbital planes are inclined to be near polar. The orbital planes are 1200 km above the Earth. Each satellite completes a full trip around the Earth in 109 minutes. NASA James Webb find water on the comet. Recently, the NASA has announced that its telescope James Webb had discovered water on the comet at Reed. Water discovered from the comet. Water on comet Reed. Water discovered on comet 238P Reed by discovered by NASA. Discovered by Webb's near infrared spectrograph instrument. Webb's near infrared spectrograph discovered ये अनाउंस इन 15 मई 2023. नोरो वायरस केरला हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट on 24 मई 2023 confirmed 2 cases of noro virus in classroom student in Anlapuram district. Winter vomiting disease. Norovirus is a very contagious virus that causes vomiting and diarrhea. High energy particle Amaterasu. Astronomers recently have detected a rare and incredibly high energy particle called Amaterasu falling to Earth. It was named Amaterasu after a Japanese goddess. It is one of the highest energy cosmic rays ever detected. It is an energy exceeding of 240 electron volt. This is millions of times more than the particle produced in the Large Hadron Collider. European Space Agency launched the Euclid spacecraft in July 2023 about dark matter. Now it has reached the Lagrange point L2, approximately 1.5 million kilometers away from the Earth. It started its work launched by the European Space Agency with a significant contribution from Euclid mission. European Space Agency launched Euclid spacecraft to study the dark matter, Euclid dark matter, and now it has reached the Lagrange L2, approximately 1.5 million kilometers away from the Earth. Launched by European Space Agency and significant contribution from NASA. Launched a space launch site by using Falcon Heavy rocket to study about the mystical dark matter and expansion of the universe. ISRO Space on the Wheel exhibition recently. ISRO in collaboration with Vijnan Bharati Vipa organized an exposition Space on Wheels in Arunachal Pradesh to make space exploration accessible to students and space enthusiasts. On the first day of the program, the Space on Wheels exhibition made its debut at and college in Pasika. The main goal of the Space on Wheels program is to give college and school students insightful information about the ISRO's operation and India's space mission. ISRO के operation और India के space mission. Nokia opens 6G lab in Bangalore recently with the name to explain the development of the fundamental technology and innovative use cases. Telecom near market maker telecom gear maker Nokia opened a 6G lab at its global research and development center in Bangalore. 6G lab at its global research and development center in Bangalore. Geospace Fiber. Recently, the first gigabit internet service in India. Internet service in India was successfully demonstrated by Reliance Jio. This technology has the ability to bring first gigabit internet service. This technology has the ability to bring high speed internet connectivity to remote parts of the nation. Reliance Jio Infocom Limited, India's leading telecommunication provider, has introduced Geospace Fiber satellite. Geospace Fiber. Reliance Jio Infocom Limited, India's leading telecommunication provider, has introduced Geospace Fiber satellite to broadband service. This new technology was demonstrated by the company at Indian Mobile Congress. Calypso, first gigabyte internet service by Reliance Jio. Calyx Coca vaccine. Recently, scientists in Brazil have created a vaccination known as Calyx Coca, which is a groundbreaking therapy for cocaine and crack addiction. This novel vaccination seeks to counteract the effects of cocaine by inducing an immunological response by the body. Calyx Coca vaccine. Recently, scientists in Brazil have created a vaccination known as Calyx Coca. Calyx Coca, which is a groundbreaking therapy for cocaine and crack addiction. Brazil, Calyx Coca. Cocaine and crack addiction. This novel vaccination seeks to combat the effects of the cocaine by inducing an immunological response in the body. First green hydrogen fuel cell bus. Recently, first green hydrogen fuel cell bus is launched in New Delhi from the Kartavya Path by the Union Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Hardeep Singh Puri. Indian Oil Corporation, India's top oil firm, unveiled the nation's first green hydrogen powered bus. Indian IOC, Indian Oil Corporation. Recently, the Pehla green hydrogen fuel cell bus is launched in New Delhi from Kartavya Path by the Union Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Hardeep Singh Puri. Indian Oil Corporation, India का सबसे बड़ा top oil firm, unveiled the nation's first green hydrogen powered bus. CSI Prima ETA. recently Central Mechanical Engineering Research Institute has developed Council for Scientific and Industrial Research Prima 81. Prima 81, a small electric tractor, small CSIR, Council for Scientific Industrial Research, Prima CMRE, Central Mechanical Engineering Research Institute, developed by Central Mechanical Engineering Research Institute. CSI CMRE is a premier research institute located in Durgapur, West Bengal. It was established in 1958. CSI CMRE has a history of designing the developing tractors, starting with Swaraj in 1965, Sonalika tractors in 2000, and Krishi Shakti in 2001 for small farmers. CMRI, a small electric tractor. CSI Prima, CSIR का Prima 8011 electric tractor 11. Electrified flex fuel vehicle. Recently, Union Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas and the prototype of the world first BS6 Stage 2 electrified. BS6 Stage 2 है electrified flex fuel vehicle developed by Toyota Kirloskar Motor. An electrified flex fuel vehicle has both flexi fuel engine and electric powertrain. Flex fuel vehicles have engines that can run on flexible fuel, a combination of petrol, diesel, electric and ethanol, which can include up to 100% ethanol. The flex fuel and an electric powered flex fuel engine, electric powertrain offer the dual benefit of higher ethanol use and improved fuel efficiency. Higher ethanol use and improved fuel efficiency. Radio thermoelectric generator. Recently, the Bhabha Atomic Research Center and ISRO began working. Bhabha Atomic Research and ISRO began working together to develop the radio thermoelectric generator (RTGs). Radio thermoelectric generator, a novel strategy intended to overcome the limitation of the conventional chemical engine for interplanetary travel. Radio thermoelectric generators are innovative power sources designed to enter the challenges in deep space missions. They utilize the radioactive materials such as plutonium-238 and strontium-90, which emit heat as they decay over time. Digital Health Incentive Scheme. Recently, the National Health Authority announced the extension of the Digital Health Incentive Scheme under the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission till 31 December 2023. The Digital Health Incentive Scheme was launched with effect from 1 January 2023 as part of the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. The pivot Digital Health Incentives for National Health Authority announced the extension of this Digital Health Incentive. This National Health Authority Digital Health Incentive Scheme under the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, and the Digital Health Incentive was launched with effect from 1 January 2023 as part of the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. Pivot, the humanoid robot. The humanoid robot is being carried by a team of engineers and scientists at the Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology to operate aircraft without altering the cockpit. It is the world's first humanoid pivot. Humanoid robot is being created by the team of engineers and institute at the Korea Advanced to operate aircraft without altering the cockpit. It is the world's first humanoid pilot. It can fly an airplane just like a human pilot by manipulating all the single controls, and the cockpit is designed for the human. Bharat or the Internet Utsav pivot. Bharat Internet Utsav. The Department of Telecommunication has launched the Bharat Internet Utsav to celebrate the power of the internet in July 2023. Nagaland officially declared as lumpy skin disease positive state. Langa has officially declared a lumpy skin disease positive state. The declaration is made following the detection of the lumpy skin disease in 4 districts of the state. NASA to launch the OTT platform NASA Plus. NASA is redesigning its web page, launching its first on-demand streaming service, and updating its NASA app. It recently launched the beta version. In flagship and other website. Beta version. Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle C-55. ISRO Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle C-55 Tele Earth Observation Satellite 2 mission was successfully launched recently. Polar Satellite C-55 and Tele Earth Observation Satellite 2 mission was successfully launched recently. Launched on Vice President Sri Harikota. Tel Earth Observation Satellite 2 primary satellite Lumilite, Telios, Lumilite and POEM-2 dedicated commercial mission through National Space India Limited, dedicated commercial mission of ISRO under the aegis of National Space India Limited. It is also the first mission to use the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle Orbital Experiment POEM. Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle Orbital Experimental Module. Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle Orbital Experimental Module. Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle C-55 Tele-EOS-2 launched from Sriharikota. Payload Tele-EOS-2 prime satellite Lumilite POEM-2 Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle Orbital Experimental Module. POEM Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle Orbital Experimental Module. Zero Saturday on 25 April 2023 Indian city of Bangalore. 13 degree north latitude. 13 degree north latitude. Would experience an astrophysical phenomena called Indian city of Bangalore 2:30 not to experience an astrophysical phenomena called zero shadow day at 12:17 p.m. Zero shadow day is a unique astronomical phenomena that occurs when the sun is directly overhead. It is a day when the shadow of the vertical object disappears. National Rabies Control Program. The Central Government of Gujarat launched the National Rabies Control Program for prevention and control of rabies. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Ministry of Fisheries, Animals Husbandry and Dairying, Government of India jointly launched National Action Plan for the Dog-Mediated Rabies. National Action Plan for Dog-Mediated Rabies National Action Plan for Dog-Mediated Rabies Elimination from India by 2030. Global Hub for the Green Shipbuilding by 2030 with an aim to make India global hub for building green ship. The Ministry of Port Shipping and Waterways on 22 March 2023 launched the Green Truck Transition Program. National Center for Excellence in Green Port and National Center of Excellence in Green Port and Shipping, acting as a nodal entity for the industry. The plan is put to make India as the global hub for building green ship by 2030. Bharat 60 project. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on 22 March 2023 unveiled the India 60 mission. The mission utilizes a focus initiative for the next generation tech in India. And the official 6G testbed project to allow the research on new network technology. India 6G project will be implemented in two phases. The first one from 2023 to 2025, the second one from 2025 to 2030. 6G project. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on 22 March 2023 unveiled the India 6G mission. The mission is a focused initiative for the next generation technology in India and the official 6G testbed project to allow the research on new network technology. India 6G project will be implemented in two phases. 2023 से 2025 पहला फेज, 2025 से 2030 सेकंड फेज. Cruise NASA along with the private space company SpaceX scientists crew 6 mission on 2 March 2022 to the International Space Station aboard SpaceX spacecraft Endeavour. Currently, a new scientific research Crew 6 will help prepare for human exploration beyond the low Earth orbit and benefit life on Earth. Space therapy. The छठा World Congress on Targeting Space Therapy 2023 will launch on 1 से 2 जून in Paris, France. Space therapy is a treatment for the people suffering from chronic or resistant infection or antibiotic resistant infection phases, formerly bacteriophages or viruses. Phases formerly known as bacterial phages. They are virus that solely kill. ये वायरस होते हैं. छठा वर्ल्ड कांग्रेस कहाँ पे हुआ था? पेस थेरेपी. सिक्स्थ वर्ल्ड कांग्रेस ऑन टारगेटिंग पेस थेरेपी वो हुआ था पेरिस, फ्रांस में. एंड सोलली किल एंड सेलेक्टिवली टारगेट बैक्टीरिया. ग्लोबल वैक्सीन रिसर्च कोलैबोरेशन ऑन 22 जून 2022 यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ केमिकल एंड फर्टिलाइजर एंड हेल्थ एंड फैमिली वेलफेयर. डॉक्टर मनसुख मांडविया एड्रेस द ग्लोबल वैक्सीन रिसर्च कोलैबोरेटिव डिस्कशन ऑन वैक्सीन रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट G20 co-branded event in Hyderabad. Global vaccine research Hyderabad. Pet coke as raw material for the lithium-ion battery. The government on 2 June 2023 permitted the import of the pet coke for making graphite anode किसका? graphite का pet coke material for lithium-ion batteries at feedstock and not for any other purpose. The import of the needle pet coke for fuel purpose is completely banned. Import of needle pet coke. The import of needle pet coke for fuel purpose is completely banned. Lithium-ion batteries are used in is completely banned. Import of needle pet coke for fuel purpose तो वो बैन है. completely banned is banned. fuel purpose banned. lithium-ion batteries are used in lithium-ion batteries कहाँ पे होता है? इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल में होता है. alligator gar fish found in the lake regions concerned native to North America. The alligator gar is considered an alien fish species in India as it is occurs here outside of its native habitat. Recently, the first documented presence of alligator gar in Jammu and Kashmir is a cause for concern. Infovac gets approved by DSA. Drugs Controller General of India has approved the world's first intranasal vaccine. Incovac intranasal तो इनको इंटरनेशनल कोवैक्सीन फॉर SARS-CoV-2 डेवलप्ड बाय भारत बायोटेक हैदराबाद वाले. ये फाउंडेड बाय पार्शली बाय द डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ बायोटेक्नोलॉजी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. इट इज अ रिकॉम्बिनेंट रेप्लिकेशन डेफिशिएंट एडिनोवायरस वेक्टर्ड वैक्सीन. रिकॉम्बिनेंट है रेप्लिकेशन डेफिशिएंट एडिनोवायरस वेक्टर्ड वैक्सीन विद अ प्री फ्यूजन स्टेबलाइज SARS-CoV-2 स्पाइक प्रोटीन. द फर्स्ट क्लोन वाइल्ड आर्कटिक वोल्फ माया वाइल्ड है आर्कटिक वोल्फ माया was successfully cloned by the China based Sinogene Biotechnology. First Arctic wolf Maya was successfully cloned by the China based Sinogene Biotechnology. Okay. कुछ इन्वायरमेंटल अफेयर्स हैं. देब्रीगढ़ वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी इंक्लूडेड स्वदेश दर्शन. रिसेंटली इन जनवरी 2024 देब्रीगढ़ कहाँ पर है? बारगढ़ में. रिसेंटली इन जनवरी 2024 देब्रीगढ़ इन बारगढ़ एंड खिंडा इन संबलपुर हैव बीन इंक्लूडेड. एक बारगढ़ है, देब्रीगढ़ बारगढ़ में है or Khinda and Sambalpur have been included in the Ministry of Tourism revamp center as Darshan 2.0, which seems developing destination tourism in the country. It was launched in 2015 by the Ministry of Tourism to develop sustainable and responsible tourism destination in the country. It is 100% centrally funded speaking. And under the scheme, the Ministry of Tourism provide the financial assistance to state government for development of tourism infrastructure in the country. The Ministry of Tourism will revamp the scheme as a Swadesh Darshan 2.0 for development of sustainable, responsible tourist destination covering tourism and the right infrastructure, services, capital development, destination management and promotion backed by the policy institutional reform. About the Africa Wildlife Sanctuary, the Africa Wildlife Sanctuary declared as a wildlife sanctuary in 1985 as per the NVH is located in Bargarh district in the Indian state of Odisha, covering a total area of 346 km square, situated near the Sambalpur और हीराकुद डैम, महानदी रिवर पे एक डैम बना है हीराकुद डैम, वहाँ पे संबलपुर है. द सेंचुरी इज होम टू मोर देन 40 स्पीसीज ऑफ मैमल, टू ऑफ बर्ड, बहुत सारी रेप्टाइल, एम्फीबियन, फिशेज एंड ओडोनेट्स, बटरफ्लाइज इंपॉर्टेंट टू 85 स्पीसीज ऑफ बटरफ्लाई एंड इज इम्पॉर्टेंट टू इंटरनेशनली बिकॉज ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन ऑफ लेपर्ड है, बाइसन है एंड चौसिंगा, द 4 हॉर्न्ड एंटेलोप और चौसिंगा चार हॉर्न एंटेलोप एज इट कॉल्ड इज वन ऑफ द एंडेंजर्ड एनिमल ऑल्सो इन दिस सेंचुरी. और है wildlife sanctuary in Bargarh and Khinda in Sambalpur. In Bargarh and Khinda in Sambalpur, 28th conference of the party university ने तो 28th session of the COP28 और यूनिवर्सिटी बोर्ड हल COP की जो COP28 ऑफ UNFCCC वो दुबई एमिरेट में हुआ था. तो COP28 हल्ड ऑन 30 नवंबर से 12 दिसंबर 2023. COP29 जो है वो अजरबैजान में होगा और COP30 ब्राज़ील में होगा. COP29 अजरबैजान 24 में होगा और 2025 में ब्राज़ील में COP30 होगा. लॉस एंड डैमेज. COP28 और लैंडमार्क एग्रीमेंट टू सपोर्ट वल्नरेबल नेशन फेसिंग द वर्स्ट ऑफ द COP28 landmark agreement to support the vulnerable nation. Landmark agreement to support vulnerable nation facing the worst of the climate change. Geographically diverse board will be established. Geographically diverse board will be established and the fund will be initially managed by the World Bank. The first pledges from the wealthy nation were made in Dubai to support the fund and currently total over 650 million. The funds were from wealthy nation were made in Dubai. Climate point target. Progress was finally made on the new collective quantified goal which builds on the 100 billion pledged by the climate finance target. Loss and damage 650 million. COP28 landmark agreement and to support vulnerable nations facing the worst of the climate change. Geographically diverse world will establish and the fund will be initially managed by the World Bank. The progress was finally made on the new collective quantified goal which built on the 100 billion pledged by the developed nation to finance climate mitigation and adaptation initiative in developing countries. Notably, 100 billion goal has not yet been met, although it appears on track this year and is far short of what is needed. Also, an agreement to draft a post 25 225 finance target out of the COP29 global stock text and fossil fuel. The text mentioned that the projection of the peak global emission between 2020 and 2030 alignment around the emission reduction consistent with the goal of limiting warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial level and reaching net zero by 2050 now made explicit. India-led initiative COP28. Global River City Alliance. The Global River City Alliance led by the National Mission for Clean Ganga, Global River City Line, National Mission for Clean Ganga, Ministry of Jal Shakti, Government of India launched the COP28, the United Nations Climate Change Conference in Dubai, United Arab Emirates Airport launched and with the countries namely India है, इधर इजिप्ट है, नीदरलैंड है, डेनमार्क है, घाना, इजिप्ट घाना, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, भूटान, इंडिया भूटान, कंबोडिया, जापान. The river cities of the Hague from the Hague river cities of the Hague, Den Haag, the Hague from Netherlands, Adelaide from Australia and Zolnok of Hungary. Along with these, the Zolnok of Hungary, Szolnok of Hungary, along with the country's internationally funding agencies, World Bank, Asian Development Bank, Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, Knowledge Management Institution entering into partnership, widely expanding the reach of the existing River City Alliance formed by the National Mission for Clean Ganga and associated with the National Institute of Urban Affairs 2021. Global River City Alliance is a unique alliance covering 275 plus global river cities in 11 countries internationally, international funding agencies and the knowledge management partners. And as partners and first of its kind in the world since its inception, RCA River City Alliance intended to include 143 member cities in India, including the city of Aarhus, Denmark, and Ajima as a catalyst for the key framework for sustainable urban river management, and has emerged as a catalyst for key framework for sustainable urban river management. PM Narendra Modi announced the launch of the Green Credit Initiative at COP28, which was backed by the multiple world leaders. The Green Credit Initiative was first announced by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Green Credit Green Credit Initiative was first launched by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. There are two main priorities of the initiative: water conservation and afforestation. And scheme, the green credit will be assigned to specific environmental activities and will be treated as tradable commodity. These green credits will be able to sold on the domestic market platform. There are two main priorities of the initiative: water conservation and afforestation. PM Narendra Modi announced the launch of the COP28 Green Credit Initiative at COP28 summit, which was backed by the multiple world leaders at the meeting. PM Narendra Modi announced the launch of the Green Credit Initiative at COP28 summit, which was backed by the multiple world leaders at the meeting. Announced the launch of the Green Credit Initiative at COP28 summit, which was backed by the multiple world leaders at the Green Credit Initiative. PM Narendra Modi launched the Green Credit Initiative at COP28. Green Credit Global Diversity ranks coming 275 global diversity in 11 countries for international funding. Knowledge management partner. This is absent diversity alliance has expanded to include 140 member cities in India, including the city of Aarhus, Denmark, and Nantumas as a catalyst for the key framework for urban river management. PM Narendra Modi launched the Green Credit Initiative at COP28, which was backed by the multiple world leaders. The Green Credit Initiative was first introduced by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. There are two main priorities of the initiative: water conservation and afforestation. And the scheme, the green credits will be assigned to वाटर को कंजर्व करेंगे और एफॉरेस्टेशन करेंगे. इसके अंदर ग्रीन क्रेडिट्स विल बी असाइन्ड टू द स्पेसिफिक वांटेड एंड विल बी क्रिएटेड एज सुटेबल कम्युनिटी. इन क्रेडिट विल बी एबल टू सोल्ड ऑन द डोमेस्टिक मार्केट प्लेटफॉर्म. COP29 होस्ट जो है बाकू एंड अजरबैजान विल होस्ट COP29 अवॉर्डिंग एन एक्सटेंशन ऑफ द यूएई प्रेसिडेंसी एंड एन कन्फर्मेशन लोकेशन इन बॉन एंड कॉन्फ्रेंस लोकेशन इन बॉन, जर्मनी. और 2030 वाला ब्राज़ील में होगा. साइक्लोन मिशोंग. रिसेंटली द साइक्लोन मिशोंग, pronounced Mingzhong, made landfall over the Nellore in Andhra Pradesh as a super cyclonic storm. Cyclone Mishong, pronounced Mingzhong, landfall over Nellore in Andhra Pradesh. Nellore in Andhra Pradesh is a super cyclonic storm originated from Bay of Bengal, named celestial by the Myanmar virus Mishong name. So in 2007, the World Meteorological Organization, together with the members of the International Economic and Social Commission, prepared the list of the names for tropical cyclones in the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea to be given to September 2006. And the name of the cyclone Mishong was proposed by the Myanmar, which signifies the resilience and 40 degrees is the sixth cyclone to develop in the Indian Ocean this year, and the fourth to form in the Bay of Bengal. For example, Mishong by the Myanmar. The next 5 cyclones will be called Rimal by Oman, Ashna Pakistan, Dana Qatar, Fengal Saudi Arabia, Shakti Sri Lanka. Global Climate 2011 से 2020. Recently the World Meteorological Organization has published a report that the global climate 2011 से 2020, a decade of acceleration concerning the alarming acceleration of climate change and multifaceted impact across the planet. It was the warmest decade on record by a clear margin for both land and ocean. Warmest decade. The global mean temperature for the period 2011 was 1.10 plus 0.12 degrees Celsius, above the 1850-1900 average. This is based on the average of 6 data used by the WHO. The warmest section on record globally was 2015 से 2020. The warmest year of the decade. Warmest year was 2016 because of the strong El Nino event, and 2020 the largest positive anomaly over the positive anomalies over the decade and placed more than 2 degrees Celsius above the 1900 were in the Arctic. The decadal global average CO2 during the 1900 was 361 ppm during the decade 2001 से 2020, 318, 2011 से 2020, 402. Ocean warming rates. Global average CO2. Ocean warming rates for the upper 2000 meter depth reached 1.2 over the period 2016 से 2020. It is a record high in 2020. In any given year between 2011 and 2020, approximately 60% of the surface of the ocean experienced heat wave. The 3 years having the highest average of the days with marine heat waves were heat wave 2016, 2020 58 and 2019 54 days. Global mean sea level rise is accelerating largely because of the ocean warming and the loss of the land. Global mean sea level rise in accelerating ocean warming and the loss of land ice mass. Glaciers that were measured around the world thin by approximately 1 millimeter. Glaciers thin by approximately 1 meter per year on average between the कितना. IMO. India has been recognized by Paniya lead country for the International Maritime Organization Green Voyage 2050 project, a significant stride towards mitigating greenhouse gas emission. International Maritime Organization Green Voyage 2050 significant stride towards mitigating greenhouse gas emission from ship. ग्रीन वॉइस 2050 प्रोजेक्ट द ग्रीन वॉइस 2050 प्रोजेक्ट पार्टनरशिप बिटवीन द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ नॉर्वे एंड आईएमओ लॉन्च इन मई 2019 एमिंग टू ट्रांसफॉर्म द शिपिंग इंडस्ट्री टुवर्ड्स अ लोअर कार्बन फ्यूचर इनिशियली 12 countries from the 6 high priority regions namely Asia, Africa, Black Sea, Caribbean, Latin America are taking part in the respective region to champion the national action. The Green Voice 2050 project is working with the third country Azerbaijan, Belize, China, Cook Island, Ecuador, Georgia, India, Kenya, Malaysia, Solomon in South Africa and Sri Lanka. Amrit Technology recently the Indian Institute of Technology IIT in Madras has developed a technology called Amrit arsenic metal removal by Indian technology. Arsenic metal remover by Indian technology. Arsenic and metal remover by Indian technology for the removal of arsenic and metal ions from water. Amrit arsenic and metal removal from by Indian technology. IIT Madras arsenic metal removal by Indian technology. Arsenic metal ions from water. The technology used the nanoscale iron hydroxide which selectively removes the arsenic when water is passed through it. This technology uses nanoscale iron oxyhydroxide. Nanoscale iron oxyhydroxide. Arsenic and metal removal by Indian technology. Arsenic and metal removal by Indian technology. IIT Madras has developed a technology called Amrit arsenic metal removal by technology. Arsenic metal ions by water uses nanoscale iron hydroxide which selectively remove the arsenic when water is passed through. If this water purifiers has been developed for both domestic as well as the community level. Also, the technology has been recommended by the Hospital Standing Committee of the Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation for the examination of the best technology concerning water and sanitation. IUCN release update. Recently, the IUCN list update released at the COP28 United Climate Conference of the United Arab Emirates. Recently, the IUCN list update is released at the COP28 UN Climate Conference in United Arab Emirates. The list also includes the first global freshwater fish assessment and highlights the impact of the illegal logging and trade on mahogany. Recently, the IUCN list update released at the COP28 UN Climate Conference in the United Arab Emirates. And recently, the IUCN list update IUCN COP28 UAE. This is the list also includes the first global freshwater fish पूरे ग्लोबल की फ्रेश वाटर से फिश असेसमेंट एंड द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ द इलीगल लॉगिंग एंड ट्रेड ऑन mahogany. IUCN रेड लिस्ट नाउ हैज़ 1,57,900 स्पीसीज जिसमें से 44,000 आर थ्रेटन्ड विद एक्सटिंक्शन. State of the world freshwater fish world. Today's update complete the first comprehensive assessment of the world's freshwater fish species, revealing that 25% are at the risk of extinction. At least 17% of the threatened freshwater fish be affected by the climate change, including decreasing water level, rising sea level, decreasing water level, rising sea level, causing seawater to move up river. Rising sea level, seawater to move up river, shifting seasons, the Central South Pacific and East Pacific. Central South Pacific, Pacific का South, Pacific का East. Green turtle population are especially endangered and vulnerable to extinction according to today's IUCN red list. Scimitar horned oryx has moved from extinction in the wild to endangered on the IUCN red list. Scimitar horned oryx, SCI, scimitar horned oryx in the wild to endangered on the IUCN red list thanks to the conservation effort that have reintroduced the species to Chad. Scimitar horned oryx has moved from extinct in the wild to endangered on the IUCN red list thanks to conservation efforts that have reintroduced the species to Chad. Scimitar horned oryx has moved from extinct in the wild to endangered. Extinct in the wild endangered to IUCN red list thanks to the conservation efforts that have reintroduced the species to Chad. Scimitar horned oryx. One common is across the region of Africa. The antelope disappeared from the wild by the end of 1990. The red list status of the Saiga antelope, Saiga tarira, who lives across the Kazakhstan, Mongolia, Russia, Uzbekistan, has moved from critically endangered to near threatened. Big leaf mahogany, one of the world's most commonly sought after a timber tree, has moved from the vulnerable to endangered on IUCN red list. Climate change performance India in a significant stride toward the sustainable practice. India has achieved the 7th position in this year's climate change performance index. The announcement came during the global COP28 held in Dubai, where India reaffirmed its status among the top performers for the consecutive year. Report released by the German World's New Climate Institute Climate Action Network 8 December 2023 reviewed the COP28 held in Dubai. Top performing countries in the India's position. India was ranked 7th in the climate change performance in the 2024 climate change performance in the CCPI. 7th. India is ranked 7th in the climate change performance, one move up from the previous. पहले 8 था, अब कितना हो गया 7. And essentially, to the absence of the countries in the first three spot, India placed and fourth in the global climate aid performance. Denmark retained the top position in the index, the score of 75, followed by the in Denmark, Estonia, Philippines, Denmark, Estonia, Philippines, India, Denmark, Estonia, Philippines, India. टॉप 3 पोजीशन खाली है, फोर्थ में डेनमार्क, एस्टोनिया, फिर सिक्स में फिलीपींस, सेवंथ में इंडिया, फिर एट में नीदरलैंड है इन द सेकंड एंड थर्ड पोजीशन. इंडिया क्लोजली फॉलो securing the fourth position in the ranking. Categories result greenhouse gas, Philippines, Sweden and Chile are at the top, receiving a high rating in the country. Categories result greenhouse gas emission, greenhouse gas climate change performance index, greenhouse gas emission रेटिंग में फिलीपींस सबसे ज़्यादा, फिलीपींस के बाद है आपका स्वीडन, चिले. इंडिया जो है ग्रीन हाउस गैस एमिशन में 9th इन ग्रीन हाउस गैस एमिशन. यूनाइटेड अरब एमिरेट, सऊदी अरेबिया एंड चाइना. तो मतलब फिलीपींस, स्वीडन और चिले में सबसे ज़्यादा कम एमिशन होता है. और सबसे ज़्यादा स्कोर जो है वो तुम्हारा है यूनाइटेड अरब एमिरेट्स, हाई रेटिंग. यूनाइटेड अरब एमिरेट्स, सऊदी अरेबिया एंड ईरान वर्स्ट परफॉर्मिंग. यूनाइटेड अरब एमिरेट्स, यूएई, Saudi Arabia and Iran. Interesting to the absence of the countries in the first three spots, India particularly standard as 6 in the greenhouse gas emission category. India 9 category. Okay. Category result and energy usage. No country reaches the top 3 spots with the Philippines, Colombia, Philippines इधर भी, Philippines, Colombia, Nigeria. Category result and energy use. 3 countries from the global south leading. India ranked 10th. इंडिया जो है वो 10th है एनर्जी यूज. तो इसमें क्या है, क्लाइमेट चेंज परफॉर्मेंस में 7th है, ग्रीन हाउस गैस एमिशन में 9th है और एनर्जी यूज में 10th है. और इसमें क्या, इसमें भी फिलीपींस को पीसीजी को आप कर रही हैं, यहाँ पे पीएस ग्रीन हाउस गैस में, पीसी उसमें. नॉर्वे, स्वीडन एंड डेनमार्क एट द टॉप रिसीविंग हाई रेटिंग इन द कैटेगरी. रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी में नॉर्वे, स्वीडन, डेनमार्क. इंडिया परफॉर्मेंस वॉज अ मोर मॉडरेट रैंक एट 37th बट रियली रिमेनिंग विद अ हाई परफॉर्मेंस इन द ग्लोबल ग्लोबल drought snapshot was released by the United Nations Convention to Combat Regime in collaboration with the National Drought Resilience Alliance at COP28 in Mumbai. The nature was led by the UN Convention to Combat Desertification established by 1992 Hard Summit along with the UNFCCC Foundation Convention on Biological Diversity. In China, 15-20% of the population faces more frequent moderate to severe drought with a high drought intensity expected to increase by drought intensity expected to increase by 80%. The Horn of Africa has 23 million people severely food insecure. The Horn of Africa has 23 million people severely food insecure. The Horn of Africa has 23 million people severely food insecure attributed to drought. The United States experienced the severe global drought snapshot. UNCC in collaboration with the International Disaster Drought Resilience Alliance. International Drought Resilience Alliance at COP28 in Dubai. The nature was the UNCD established at the 1992 Earth Summit along with the UNFCCC. In China, 15-20% of the population faces more frequent moderate to severe drought, with drought intensity expected to increase by 80% by Kiso. China, 15-20% of the population faces more frequent moderate to severe drought. China. Horn of Africa has 23 million and people severely food insecure. Attributed to drought. The United States experienced severe. US experienced severe drought across the 5% in the continuous center. The La Plata basin in Argentina faced the worst drought by 78 years, impacting the global 59th International Tropical Timber Council. ये हुआ था पटाया, थाईलैंड में 13 से 17 नवंबर by the Royal Forest Department and part of the Thailand Ministry of the Environment and Natural Resources. The delegate took a step towards the decision by Prime Minister to extend this founding agreement by 2099, thus buying some time before negotiation towards a new international tropical timber agreement. In addition to the most advanced decision to decide by 8 June 2026 on extending the ITTA International Tropical Timber Agreement 2029, International Tropical Timber Agreement 59 endorsed project for SFM and related objectives, adopted its budget and worked to program for 2024-25 with an annual budget of $7.1 million. A brief history of the International Tropical Timber Organization. International Tropical Timber Organization was established in 1986 over the countries about the worst tropical. International Tropical Timber Organization. International Tropical Timber Organization was established in 1986 over concerned about the worst tropical forest in the country that depend on them. International Tropical Timber Organization was headquartered in Yokohama, Japan. Currently has 75 members divided into 37 countries in the producer Caucasus and 38 countries including the European Union in a consumer Caucasus. Producer, 37 countries in the producer and 38 countries in the European Union in the Caucasus consumer. The ITT, which was adopted in November 1983, entered into International Tropical Demand 1983, adopted in November 1983, forced in April 1995, 1983, 1995. 14th Emission Gap Report. Recently, the United Nations Environment Programme has released a report on emission and gap report 2023 stating that the urgent climate action is crucial to avoid the alarming trajectory of temperature rise. Released on 20 November 2023, broken record. Temperature hit new high, but failed to cut emission. It provides an annually independent science-based assessment of the gap, including the pledged greenhouse gas emission reduction and reduction required to align with the long-term temperature goal of the Paris Agreement, as well as the possibility to bridge this gap. Global greenhouse gas emissions set new record of 57.4% gigaton of carbon dioxide emission in 2022, 57.4. Okay, it provides an independent science-based assessment of the gap between the plus greenhouse gas emission reduction (GHG), greenhouse gas emission reduction, and reductive required to align with the long-term temperature goal of the Paris Agreement, as well as the opportunity to bridge this gap. Global greenhouse gas emission increased by 1.2% and from 2021 to reach the new record of 57.4 gigaton of CO2. All sectors, apart from the transport, have fully rebounded from the drop in emission induced by the COVID-19 pandemic and now exceed 2019 level. Carbon dioxide emission from the fossil fuel combustion and industrial process were the main contributor to the overall increase, accounting for about 2/3 of the current greenhouse gas emission. Carbon dioxide emission from fossil fuel combustion and industrial industrial process were the main contributor to the overall increase, accounting for about 2/3 of the current greenhouse gas emission. Emission from methane, CS4, nitrous oxide, N2, and fluorinated gases, F-gases, which have the higher global warming potential and account for about 1/4 of the current greenhouse gas emission, are increasing rapidly. In 2022, the fluorinated gases emission grew by 5.5%. Global greenhouse emission increased by 125%. 2021 suddenly got 57.4 gigaton. The COVID-19 pandemic now exceeds 2019 level. All sectors apart from the transport have fully rebounded from the drop in emission reduction. Carbon dioxide emission from fossil fuel combustion is possible for the main contributor of carbon dioxide from fossil fuel and industrial. For about the current GHG emission of methane, nitrous oxide, fluorinated F gases, which have higher global warming potential and account for about 1/4 of the current greenhouse gas emission, are increasing rapidly. In 2022, F gases emission grew by 5.5%, followed by methane and nitrous oxide. Fluorinated gas, methane, and nitrous oxide. Per capita territorial greenhouse gases are more than double the world average of 6.5 tons of the carbon dioxide equivalent, and in the Russian Federation and the United States of America, while those in India remain under half of it. Per capita territorial greenhouse gases are more than double the world average of 6.5 tons of CO2 equivalent in the Russian Federation and the USA, while those in India remain under half of it. As at 25 September 2023, 97 parties covering approximately 81% of the global greenhouse gas emission and adopted the net zero pledges. As at 25 September 2023, 97 parties covering approximately 81% of the global greenhouse gas emission and adopted the net zero pledges, either in law, 27 parties in a policy document such as nationally determined contribution or a long-term strategy, 54 parties, or in announcement at a high-level government official. The emission gap in 2030 remains high. Current unconditioned nationally determined contribution implies 14 gigaton CO2 gap for a 2 degrees Celsius and 22 gigaton for the 1.5. The additional implementation of the consent NDC reduces the emission by 3 gigaton carbon dioxide equivalent. Adaptation gap report. Recently, the United Nations Environment Programme published its annual adaptation gap report, which finds that amid growing climate change, its impact progress on adaptation is slowing. The adaptation gap amid growing climate change, progress on adaptation is slowing. In a recently published United Nations Environment Copenhagen Climate Change and the World Adaptation Science इंच प्रोग्राम रिपोर्ट रिलीज ऑन 2 नवंबर 2023. टाइटल अंडर फाइनेंस है, अंडर प्रिपेयर्ड है, इनएडिक्वेट इन्वेस्टमेंट है. अंडर फाइनेंस, अंडर प्रिपेयर्ड, इनएडिक्वेट इन्वेस्टमेंट, प्लानिंग ऑन क्लाइमेट एडaptation levels would be exposed. The adaptation gap report 2023 find that the progress on adaptation is showing across all three areas annually. Access, finance, planning, implementation, that is should be rapidly accelerating. वो स्लो हो रहा है. Finance, planning, adaptation, financing, that is the difference between the estimated adaptation financing needs and the cost and finance flow has grown. The report identifies the 7 ways to bridge the adaptation gap. It includes an increase in the international finance flow and greater domestic mobilization of resources, international public adaptation finance, domestic expenditure on adaptation, private sector finance, increase in financing for small medium enterprises, remittances, reform of the global financial architecture, implementation of the Article 2.1 of the Paris Agreement. Minamata Convention on Mercury COP5 recently the fifth meeting of the Conference of the Parties on the Minamata Convention on Mercury was held in Geneva, Switzerland. Conference of the Parties held in Geneva, Switzerland. Conference of the Parties held across the 30 October or Minamata, Geneva, Switzerland, Geneva, Switzerland. President of the COP14 was Claudia Sonia Demetrius. क्लॉडिया सोनिया ये रोमानिया की थी, रोमानिया की क्लॉडिया सोरिना डुमिट्रू. एग्जीक्यूटिव सेक्रेटरी ऑफ द मिनामाटा कन्वेंशन इज एग्जीक्यूटिव सेक्रेटरी मिनामाटा कन्वेंशन की थी मोनिका जी. प्रेसिडेंट कौन थी? क्लॉडिया सोनिया रोमानिया की, और मोनिका इसकी वो थी. पार्टीज एग्रीमेंट न्यू एग्रीमेंट टू एडवांस द वेस्ट ऑफ द डेंटल अमेलगम एंड ऑफ 2025. नो मर्क्यूरी लेवल विल बी अलाउड इन no mercury level will be allowed in cosmetics. They also decided to amend the MHP that 2025 phase out for the production of polyurethane using mercury catalyst. About the conference of the parties to the Minamata Convention. The next meeting of the conference of the parties to the Minamata Convention. About the conference of the parties to the Minamata Convention COP6. The next meeting of the conference of the parties to the COP6 conference and the conference of the parties to the Minamata Convention. The next meeting of the conference of parties to the Minamata Convention will convene in Geneva. COP5 कहाँ पर हुई थी? जिनेवा स्विट्जरलैंड में. और द नेक्स्ट मीटिंग ऑफ द कॉन्फ्रेंस ऑफ द पार्टीज टू द मिनामाटा कन्वेंशन COP6 will convene in Geneva फ्रॉम 3 से 7 नवंबर 2025 अंडर द चिलियन प्रेसिडेंसी. जिनेवा में ही होगी, लेकिन इस बार जिनेवा स्विट्जरलैंड. COP6 भी जिनेवा स्विट्जरलैंड में होगी, लेकिन चिलियन की प्रेसिडेंसी इस बार रोमानिया की प्रेसिडेंसी थी. सिंस इट एंटर इनटू फोर्स ऑन 16 अगस्त 2017. सिंस इट एंटर इनटू फोर्स में आया था 16 अगस्त 2017. 147 parties have been working together to control the mercury supply and to reduce the use, emission, release of mercury, raising public awareness, building the necessary institutional capacity. The first meeting of the conference of the parties to the Minamata Convention on Mercury COP1. Conference of the Parties to the Minamata Convention on Mercury took place on 24 December at the International Conference of Parties in Geneva. Accident Threat Report. Ecological Threat Report, which analyzes the ecological threat in 221 determined by state and territories, produced by the Institute for Economics and Peace. The report covers 3,500 subnational, which account for 99.99% of the world's population. The ETR Ecological Threat Report assesses the threat relating to the food insecurity, water risk, water risk, natural disaster, demographic pressure. Of the 221 countries and territories in the ETR is the ecological threat report. Food insecurity, water risk, natural disaster, demographic pressure. 66 face at least one severe ecological threat. 45% of the countries covered in ETR face higher or severe threat. IAP estimates that by 2050, 2.8 million people will reside in countries facing severe ecological थ्रेट कंपेयर टू 1.8 बिलियन पीपल 2023. तो 2050 तक कितने हो जाएंगे? 2.8 बिलियन. इकोलॉजिकल थ्रेट रिपोर्ट इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स एंड पीस. ETR वाटर है, फूड है, नेचुरल डिजास्टर, डेमोग्राफिक प्रेशर. 1.1 बिलियन पीपल लिव इन 30 कंट्रीज दैट फेस सीवियर इकोलॉजिकल थ्रेट and have extremely low societal resilience. These hotspot countries are clustered in 3 regions: Sub-Saharan Africa, which has 90 countries with at least one hotspot area; Middle East, North Africa, which has 5 countries with a hotspot area; and Asia Pacific, which has 2 countries with a hotspot. The 4 most at-risk countries are in all sub-Saharan Ethiopia, Niger, Somalia, South Sudan. Amphibian threatened by climate change. IUCN. Recently, a new study based on the second global amphibian assessment revealed that the climate change poses the greatest threat to the existence of amphibian and life. Study done by the Amphibian Red List Authority is a branch of the Amphibian Special Group by International Union for Conservation of Nature Species Survival Commission and managed by the World Wildlife Conservation Group. Study released in October 2023. The new paper analyzes 2 decades of data aggregated from around the world who has found that the climate change is emerging as one of the biggest threats to the climate change. Of frogs, salamanders, and cichlids. Sicilian. The assessment evaluated the extinction risk of more than 8,000 amphibian species from all over the world, including 2,286 species evaluated for the first time. The data revealed that 2 out of every 5 amphibians are threatened with extinction. These data will be published on the IUCN Red List of threatened species. The habitat destruction, habitat इनका खत्म हो रहा है, degradation affect 93%. तो climate change हो गया, amphibian deadliest international union for conservation and species survival managed by revealed 2 decades of data of climate change. क्लाइमेट चेंज हो गया, हैबिटेट हो गया, डिग्रेडेशन हो गया. क्लाइमेट चेंज हो गया, डिग्रेडेशन हो गया, हैबिटेशन. ग्लोबल सर्वे रिपोर्ट ऑन द पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटीज एंड डिजास्टर सर्वे डन बाय द यूनाइटेड नेशन ऑफिस फॉर द डिजास्टर रिस्क रिडक्शन सर्वे रिलीज ऑन अक्टूबर 13 अक्टूबर ऑन द इंटरनेशनल डे फॉर द डिजास्टर रिस्क रिडक्शन. 13 अक्टूबर और इंटरनेशनल 13 अक्टूबर अक्टूबर होता है 13 अक्टूबर International Day for the Disaster Reduction. The objective of the International Day for Disaster Reduction to raise awareness of how people are taking action to reduce their risk to disaster. On person with disabilities on disaster. Separate in United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction. Released on 13 October. The International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction. International Day for Disaster Reduction to raise awareness of how people are taking action to reduce their risk to disaster. Okay, person with disability consumes 60%. With disabilities consume 16% of the Earth's population, about 80% living in the global south. The person with disabilities are frequently the most affected by the natural hazard, climate-induced disasters and global health emergencies such as COVID-19 pandemic. 84% of the 5,322 of the person with disability reported not having a personal preparedness plan, and for disaster 56% reports not being aware of not having access to disaster risk information in accessible formats in their communities. About Sendai framework for disaster risk in 2015 framework for the third United Nations World Conference. Third United Nations Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction in Sendai, Japan on 18 March 2015. The Sendai framework for disaster risk in 2015 outlined the 7 clear targets and 4 priorities for action to prevent new and reduce accident disaster. Understanding disaster risk, strengthening the disaster risk governance, strengthening governance to manage disaster, investing in disaster reduction for resilience, enhancing disaster preparedness for effective response, and build back better in rehabilitation and reconstruction. Climate Ambition Summit 2023 summit held in at Climate Ambition Summit, United Nations headquarter New York है. समिट 20 सितंबर 2022 to accelerate the action by the government, business. It's government हो गया, business finance, local authority, civil society, and here the from first movers and doers. Major outcomes of the summit: accelerating decarbonization and the delivery of climate justice. Leaders agree on the urgency of the climate crisis and that the window of opportunity to avoid the climate catastrophe was quickly closing. Net zero transition plan and regulatory support. It was concluded that holding the temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius requires building a policy and regulatory architecture. 1.5 aligned transition plan by non-state actors, particularly those other sub authorities, must converge by 2025 with a nationally determined contribution and ensure they contribute to increase the ambition of national growth. The global GCF, GCF committed to Green City Global Green City Finance Sector committed to provide $1 billion to support the implementation of the EW for All initiative, and the second replacement is successful. EW for All, GCF EW for All. 5वीं World Coffee Conference. The World Coffee Conference arrived at the first time in Asia in the city Bangalore, India. Can organize every 4 years में International Coffee Organization in collaboration with the Coffee Board of India, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, Karnataka. Sustainability is a circular economy and regenerative agriculture. World Coffee Conference brought together leaders and the decision from more than 100 countries to discuss, debate, collaborate towards building a sustainable coffee industry right from bean to cup. The पहली वर्ल्ड कॉफी कॉन्फ्रेंस ये 5वीं नंबर की थी. पहली वाली लंदन में हुई थी 2001 में. द कॉन्फ्रेंस वाज चेयर्ड बाय डॉक्टर जोर्गे कार्डिनेंस ऑफ कोलंबिया, जनरल मैनेजर ऑफ द कोटेशन रत्ना. अबाउट इंटरनेशनल कॉफी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. इंटरनेशनल कॉफी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन was established in 1963 under the aegis of International Coffee in 1960 and the issues of United Nations and following the approval of the first International Coffee Agreement in 1962. पहला agreement 1962, organization में था 1960, membership 49 members as of it now. Breakthrough Agenda Report. Recently, the Breakthrough Agenda Report was released by the International Energy Agency and the International United Nations Climate Change High-Level Campaign underscores the necessity for countries to strengthen international collaboration on technologies and market in sectors including the power, industry and agriculture. Released on September 2000. Accelerating sector transition through stronger international collaboration. Sector transition, stronger international collaboration. The 2023 edition of the Breakthrough Agenda Report examines the advances made and in actions needed to deliver a breakthrough agenda, a clean technology commitment, and breakthrough agenda साइन बाय 48 कंट्रीज इन कॉप 26 इन ग्लासगो इन 2021। 2021 में कॉप 26 हुई थी। कॉप 26 हुई थी 2026 में। कहाँ पर हुई थी? ग्लासगो में। वहाँ पे 48 कंट्रीज ने ब्रेक थ्रू एजेंडा किया था। ब्रेक थ्रू एजेंडा रिपोर्ट में द एडवांसेस मेड एंड एक्शंस नीडेड, कि क्या क्या एडवांस कर दिया, क्या क्या एक्शन चाहिए टू डिलीवर द ब्रेक थ्रू एजेंडा। द एनुअल प्रोसेस एम टू अलाइन एक्शन बाय द कंट्री टू रिड्यूस एमिशन, स्केल अप इन्वेस्टमेंट एंड ड्राइव डाउन क्लीन टेक्नोलॉजी कॉस्ट अक्रॉस द सेक्टर, से पावर, रोड हो गया, स्टील, हाइड्रोजन, एग्रीकल्चर एंड फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम 2023 बिल्डिंग एंड सीमेंट। बिल्डिंग एंड सीमेंट भी इसमें आ गया है। तो बिल्डिंग, सीमेंट, पावर, रोड, ट्रांसपोर्ट, स्टील एंड हाइड्रोजन, these 7 sectors account for more than 60% of global greenhouse gas emission. Okay, thank you. Vanadium discovery in Gujarat. Discovery of the lithium in Kashmir. Vanadium, a rare metal, was discovered in Gujarat. Vanadium is a rare metal and a key raw material for the main industrial application. The metal has been found in the sediment sample from the Gulf of Kambari, which operates into the Arabian Sea of Alang in Gujarat. According to Indian Bureau of Mines, the total estimated research of vanadium in India 24.6 million of the estimated vanadium pentoxide is 64,000. Significance of new found metal is significant as scarce in nature. Indians possess the capability to enhance the resilience of steel, and ये enhance करती है resilience जैसा steel का और titanium. The metal also has application in vanadium redox batteries to store energy efficiently. Earlier discovery of rare metal. Earlier in February 2023, the Geological Survey of India for the first time found lithium deposit of 5.9 million ton and in सलल हाइमाना एरिया ऑफ जम्मू एंड कश्मीर एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट, DIC डिस्ट्रिक्ट, वहाँ पे सलल हाइमाना। इन 2021 में एन एक्सप्लोरेशन ऑफ द जियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया प्लेस द ईस्टर्न हिमालयन स्टेट ऑफ अरुणाचल प्रदेश ऑन द वैनेडियम मैप ऑफ द कंट्री। द वर्ल्ड प्रोडक्शन ऑफ द वैनेडियम इन 2017 was 85,840 टू द मेट्रिक कंटेंट। ब्राजील इज द वर्ल्ड लार्जेस्ट एक्सपोर्टर ऑफ द वैनेडियम विद रशिया एंड द साउथ अफ्रीका अराउंड द टॉप 3। ब्राजील, रशिया, साउथ अफ्रीका, BRS। स्टेट ऑफ द राइनो। International Rhino Foundation published the report The State of the Rhino 2000, which documents current population estimate and trends for the 5 surviving rhino species in Africa and Asia. Report published on World Rhino Day 22 सितंबर को वर्ल्ड राइनो, 13 अक्टूबर को रेजिडेंस हो जाता है। फर्स्ट टाइम अनाउंस बाय द वर्ल्ड वाइल्ड लाइफ फंड साउथ अफ्रीका। आयुषन एस्टिमेटेड पॉपुलेशन 16,000। आयुषन ट्रेंड डिक्रीजिंग। ये वाला पॉइंट दोबारा से पढ़ेंगे। ओके, अभी के लिए थैंक यू।